Yeah, I did change, and I'm really glad I changed.
This one's wife. She has a new title. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Despite claiming she has no interest in titles, this one's wife loves having a title. The title is very important to her, and we see that she insists on being addressed with it. She writes letters using it as her sign-off and also as part of the heading. She continues to utilise a royal impression in relation to the new chain of care homes, American Riviera Orchard, for all your retirement needs. She utilises the title in the bio when she goes to make coma-inducing speeches. She regularly relies upon it, and it's no surprise, because the status that comes with a title is something that is important to the narcissist. It allows her to control people, because many people will show deference by virtue of her having that title. Their responses to her having the title allow her to draw in the fuel. She will see that it will allow her subconscious residual benefits. For instance, the payment of respect and the belief that it will enable her to access particular networks, that it allows her to go to certain places that she wouldn't otherwise be granted access to were she just a mere commoner. Of course, she only obtained this as a consequence of her marriage to Prince Harry, and there'll be many who say there isn't really a royal bone in her body given the way that she has behaved. Notwithstanding all of this, she loves having the title. It is commensurate with the idea that she's always had of becoming a princess, an idea that was evidently installed in her by her father, that despite claiming to know nothing about the royal family and Harry, which we all know to be a revision of history, she has focused upon the royal family from an early age, and having gained admittance, her narcissism clapped its hands for joy at the fact of her being able to acquire such a title and all of the things that it did thereafter with regard to allowing her to access the prime aims. Accordingly, the title is hugely important to her, and as I've explained elsewhere, the potential for it to be removed from her would not only threaten her sense of control as a consequence of its removal, but would hasten her return to obscurity, because without this title, she really is a nobody. Nevertheless, she has managed to acquire another title, and, as per the Independent, that title is being one of the United Kingdom's least favourite royals. On this occasion, it's a title that she wouldn't want. Emma Guinness, writing in The Independent, tells us, they may no longer be referred to as HRH, but Prince Andrew and this one's wife can still claim the titles of being the United Kingdom's least favourite royals, a new poll has found. According to the recent survey, the disgraced Duke of York, whose car crash Newsnight interview is now subject to not one but two separate TV dramas, was seen in a negative light by 86% of respondents. That, of course, is a massive threat to control for Prince Andrew, who will just cast it to one side in his usual gruff, arrogant fashion. His lowly rank was followed by the Duchess of Sussex, whose new wellness brand is also unlikely to appeal to the 64% of Britons who admitted holding negative views towards her. Pausing there. Not only is the outcome of this poll a threat to her control, but it also continues to demonstrate how her narcissism will recognise that the United Kingdom is in effect a hostile place to her. Not hostile in the sense of her being attacked or having hordes of middle-aged women throwing tins of tomatoes at her head, but rather quite simply that she's not wanted, she's not liked, and is likely to receive an unfavourable response were she to appear in public. This plunge in popularity is unsurprising, but is naturally problematic for this one's wife. It also comes in stark contrast to the Princess and Prince of Wales, who topped the poll respectively, having earned the nation's admiration for their bravery in handling Kate's cancer diagnosis. So, despite the attempts of this one's wife to rally her minions into smearing the Princess of Wales with the hashtag #WhereIsKate campaign and the preposterous suggestions that she was buried under the patio or had gone away for a Brazilian bum lift or that she had left William, all of that completely failed, and indeed her popularity increased. Andrew's lack of popularity follows his association with convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein, which saw him step away from public duties 4 years ago. In January 2022, he was stripped of his HRH title after he was accused of sexual assault by Virginia Giuffre, a victim of Epstein's. He has vehemently and continuously denial, the first line of the twin lines of the narcissistic defence, these claims. The following month, Andrew reached a multi-million-pound out-of-court settlement with Miss Giuffre, which included damages and a donation to her charity in support of victims' rights. The Duchess of Sussex, meanwhile, was deemed the second most unpopular royal. The former actress became a controversial figure after she and her husband Prince Harry chose to leave the firm, citing allegations of racism from within the family and wider media intrusion. Accordingly, her attempts to rehabilitate her image of turning up at Whistler, at doing the charitable video link for the dogs charity, was it the Maynard Trust? All of these appearances to try and make out that she's this kind, empathic person handing over a birthday cake to Uvalde victims, none of it's worked, at least with those in the United Kingdom. She remains particularly disliked and unpopular. Doesn't get any better for the Sussex household because Harry didn't emerge favourably from the poll either, with 61% of respondents expressing a negative view of the King's youngest son. The Princess of Wales emerged as the UK's favourite royal, with 76% of respondents admitting they saw her in a positive light. Bad news indeed for this one's wife. The Nemesis gets 76% positive, whereas this one's wife finds herself on 64% negative. A huge gulf between the two. This comes following Kate's recent health struggles, which began when she initially stepped back from public duties in January for planned abdominal surgery. Her cancer diagnosis came just months after King Charles's, as announced in February. The King emerged in a most favourable light in the poll, with 63% of respondents saying they hold a positive view of the monarch. The King was beaten in this popularity contest by his younger sister Princess Anne, who 71% of respondents said they saw in a positive light. The second most popular royal, who was just 3% less favoured than the Princess of Wales, is Prince William, who was seen positively by 73% of respondents. So again, the attempts by the Sussex squad to smear the Waleses by suggesting that he was involved in having an affair and that he had somehow offed his wife failed also. Accordingly, this one's wife, you've got a new title, but it's not one that you would want, as the bad news continues for you. The Nemesis and the one that got away remain immensely popular in the United Kingdom, and you do not. Always bad news to a narcissist who wants to be loved. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.